Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Legacy Loading. And joining me tonight is our friend, Mr. Jason. How are you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. What's going on, everyone?
Yes. And tonight's episode, we're going to be covering Jason's bread and butter fighting games. So for everyone who doesn't know who you are, Jason, why don't you reintroduce yourself to them?
Hey, everyone. You know me. I'm Jason. Tons of fun. I do a lot of top fives. You can find that at Thursday nights with Nerdy Neo. I play some random games every once in a while. I've been doing a lot of Borderlands streams as well. But yeah, you can find me at tons of fun games. At a lot of my lists, you hear me talk about a lot of fighting games. I'm one of those few people that still play them, but in a gigantic community that we all have. But yeah, I get a lot of comments saying, "You're the KI guy that talks about it way too much." We make jokes about that on the show, but yeah, fighting games are one of my favorite things ever. I love them. I love people that are kind of scared of them, but I love trying to be like, don't be. It's fun. Like, you could be bad and eventually be good at it. It's one of those things that it's always just fun to have new people join the community to play.
Yeah, exactly. We just met in person for the first time last weekend over here at Galloping Ghost in Brookfield, Illinois. One of the biggest arcades in the world for a bunch of old, sometimes newer games come in every now and then. And even some rare ones too. Like they just showed off Typing of the Dead they finally brought over, you said?
Yeah. Typing the Dead came out last week now. Yeah, because they put a new game on the floor every Monday. So 1060 was Typing the Dead, and they just had a new game on the floor yesterday.
Yeah, so got to check him out. And of course, the first game I see him playing is Mortal Kombat, just from the outside, waiting to get in. Yeah.
Yeah, I always my goal always there, because it's one of the hard machines to get it to work. But my goal always to try is unlock Reptile or just fight him on the pit. But that machine does not ever want to let you do that. So it's always one of my fun things to try to do. But yeah, it very rarely happens.
Yeah, but it was still fun to see you. I noticed you right away, but you probably like, who the hell is this guy tapping on the window?
I noticed, so I heard you say something. That's why I went to my ear, and I heard a voice. I'm like, oh, I know that voice. So that's why I was like, that's why I waved on in, but I knew you were waiting for other people. So at first, yes, but then I was like, oh, I heard something. I know who it is now.
And then, of course, we got our buddy, Mr. JMD Elite Fan, stopping by saying, "Hail, gentlemen. Hail to you, buddy. Hope you're having a good." Another Illinois boy, but he's a little bit farther south than us.
Okay.
So we got all the Midwest representation up in the chat so far.
Let's go.
But yeah, that was pretty fun. I'm happy that we were finally able to meet, because last time you weren't able to make it because of some other shit that happened. So I'm happy that we were able to redo it, but hopefully next time we get you out to get some Gene and Jude's, man.
Oh heck yeah! Like I said, I know I said in the background, but I'm like, my man, Shy Hot Dog is always great. That place is always good too. I'm like, oh man, I need to stop and get one sooner than later.
Yeah, I know. Have you ever been to Dog and Suds by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dog and Suds just finally closed down for their annual, winter close down. And I got like a week before, because I'm like, oh man, I got to get my last burger in before they close down for the season, because I'm going to have to wait till April,
Yep.
But luckily Gene and Jude's doesn't have that problem. We got lucky though that I wasn't super busy. So that was a plus.
I had a feeling, because of the weather, that I'm like, it's going to be one of the two things. It's going to be busy like it always is, or this rain that came was going to push people kind of away from it. And it does definitely sound like that was the case.
Yeah, no, we got lucky, but then after we all got done eating our hot dogs, it was the bum rush. Everyone just came out of nowhere, so we're like,
you fit right in between the after the dinner rush and before everybody got out of concert / everybody super late needing to grab something to eat rush.
Yeah. So we were very lucky about that. But this isn't about hot dogs. This is about fighting games.
Absolutely.
Obviously, as everyone knows, we cover mostly the old G4 TV show icons as kind of a fun little brief, I guess you would say, going back to like the early days, good old days after 9/11, as they would always say, as the joke goes. And today we're covering fighting games. And this was, I think, one of their very close to like one of their very last episodes of the series when they actually still talked about video games before they trailed off and talked about like Mark Cuban and Mark Echo and all that crap. So this one I thought was interesting. Obviously, it is going to be a blast from the past. And as always, we kind of talk about how things have changed and kind of try to remember, where our roots came from. Around this time, I would say I was just about to enter high school in a couple of years. I was in middle school when this episode came out. How about you, Jason? How old were you around this time?
So I believe I was just out of high school, or I was my last year of high school, because it was 2004, right? Or 2005?
2004 or 5, one of those years.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was my senior year of high school, or it was my freshman year in college. It was one of the two.
So that's pretty good. And that's pretty cool, actually. So yeah, about this time, what fighting games were you playing at the time?
Oh man, all of them. Like we met, Paul at the thing. I always told him, like, yeah, my issue with all fighting games is I played them all, so I never get great at one of them. I can get decent at them, but I can never like be a pro at any of them because I just like to consume them all and just learn things that way. So during the time Third Strike, I was playing a lot of that. Anything that was on the Dreamcast fighting game wise, like Virtua Fighter, Soul Calibur, MK, that was during the weird time of 3D Mortal Kombat. So I was playing a lot of those. But everything, like you name a fighting game, I pretty much was playing it.
Well, that's pretty cool. I think around this time I was still probably playing Soul Calibur 2 or Soul Calibur 3. Those were probably like my games I was still checking out because I'm not really the biggest fighting game fan per se. I respect it. And I kind of get into like a few of them more casually, like the Mortal Kombats, the Soul Caliburs. I'm not like the biggest Street Fighter guy in the world, but I respect them all. So it's gonna be interesting going down that memory lane here. So let's get this up on the screen, shall we? And start getting this episode on the roll here. So good old G4 Icons, the fighting game episode.
Round 1, get ready, go! Fight. I want to see some blood out there!
They fed a primal craving.
You could just throw quarters in that machine.
Is that Jeff Keighley?
That is.
Oh my God, look how young he looks in that one. That's so wild.
Yeah. That was the one thing I noticed when I watched it for the first time. I'm like, that's right, Jeff Keighley did a lot of things for G4 back in the day. Like he was one of their like historian kind of guys.
Yeah, that's so wild to think about.
All night long. It was a really addictive game, and it's like it was pure competition at the arcades.
They brought the arcades back to life.
Street Fighter was...
I always laugh because I look at the arcade sticks that people had back in the day, like on them, and they were called Moss sticks. And now an arcade stick to anybody is super easy to get, but back then you had just a brick on your lap if you wanted an arcade stick, of your own.
Yeah, and like you said, they brought the arcades back to life too. Because ironically enough, speaking, we were just talking about this last week with Zero. We did a Pac-Man episode, and it was basically, after that big rush of all the arcade games and Pac-Man and Mario and all that stuff, they basically had their own kind of video game crash too.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, like they said, fighting games got really popular again that kind of made another resurgence for the arcades.
Yep, absolutely.
And they pushed the gaming envelope.
You will always remember the fatalities of Mortal Kombat.
It was a landmarking graphic death.
This is the history of fighting games.
Flawless victory.
So it's so nostalgic seeing those old classic fighting game intros that are still around to this day too. It's like I do love how much fighting games have changed, but they've also at least kept a lot of like that stuff kind of the same too.
Mm-hmm. No, track screens. I mean, you probably noticed it when we were at the Ghost on over the weekend. Like, how many times you just see me stop at like a game or just a fighting game and just watch the track screen for a little bit? Like, they're so like to me, they're the most nostalgic thing ever because again, yes, you played games, but unless you had a lot of quarters, you were just watching, see if there's anything you could pick up from them or the music or anything like that. So, but yeah, I agree 100%. Like everything about them is great.
While Galaxian and Space Invaders are kings of the arcade,
It wasn't like a kid phenomenon. It was like really across the board phenomenon in terms of who was playing arcade games.
a game designer named Tim Skelly unknowingly gives birth to the one-on-one fighting game.
Tim Skelly.
Second game, Warrior, was, some people have said it's the precursor to the two-person fighter, but frankly, it's top-down.
Did you ever play that game?
I did not.
Yeah, because I've never heard about this one. So
Yeah,
that's
I've heard of it, but I've never played it. Like when they were describing, as they will continue and they describe it being a fighting game, I'm like, yes, it is, but it's more of a interesting take on what a fighting game is. But again, what is a fighting game? We can get in a huge discussion about that because anything one-on-one that uses anything can be described as a fighting game. And again, I love doing mystery game tournaments when I do still do competition in fighting games. And something like this would be in there because it's like, what can we do one-on-one that has button combinations or movement to defeat your opponent? And this fits that bill. So that's how I always use my what is a fighting game is what mechanics can you use to defeat your opponent. And when you do that, especially when you go to the mystery game tournaments, man, the fighting games go crazy. Like there's one that's like a train racing game that's technically a fighting game, and whenever it gets pulled off at mystery game tournaments, like it's a blast.
Yeah, but you could kind of look at this as like one of the first forays into a fighting game, like a
100%,
proto fighting
absolutely.
game at least.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so let's continue. I've never heard about this game. It's actually interesting.
And the only similarity is your two characters don't shoot the projectiles at each other. They actually make contact with swords. And that really wasn't intentional. I mean, it wasn't really trying to do anything special there. We just make a game. When they're
So it was like the original Bushido blade. Got it. That's what it sounds like.
Facing each other, you can see they're both holding swords and they're facing right at each other. Very crude game, but it was actually kind of like the first fighting game. That was like 1979.
It was very
Oh,
basic,
wow.
but
Yeah,
you
it's
actually
old.
have to compete against one another.
Damn.
Instead of just like going back and forth like on pump. You're actually inflicting damage on the other opponent. So I think that kind of started it. People were just like, hey, I like beating you up, virtually. And I think that just might have, started the whole, fighting game craze.
But by the time the next notable fighter appears, the arcade market has crashed. And Pac-Man has gone from prince to pauper.
What had happened is we pretty much saturated the market.
Mark Cerny is in this
Yeah.
documentary? Holy Christ. Look at how young Cerny is. Here, let's roll back a little bit here.
And Pac-Man has gone from prince to pauper.
What had happened?
Look at how young he is here, man. He
Yep.
kind of looks like Jim Carrey a little bit, don't you think?
A little bit. I can see the hair. That
Yeah.
definitely does it.
That's so weird. Oh, Mark Carney, man. And he wasn't even at Sony at the time either. He
was doing his own thing. Yeah, it's insane seeing some of these names pop up. Yeah.
Oh my God, man! Wow.
Is we pretty much saturated the market. By the middle of 1982, we were just full.
It was a fad. I think there's no other way to put it. The whole thing just sort of collapsed under its own weight.
Yeah.
But a small handful of survivors continue to make games.
1983, the arcades were kind of going downhill. Data East was ingenious at the time because they had this game where you could have two people play at the same time, and everybody knew, what quarter munchers were at the time. But they came up with this idea in this game that actually would double the earnings because you'd always have two people
Karate
playing
Champ.
the game at the same time. Karate Champ, it's an arcade game.
So, did you ever play this one?
Oh, Hunter, a lot.
Oh, really? Tell me about it. I've never really played this one.
So
Let me
yeah,
rephrase that. I've never heard of this one.
yeah, so they actually have this at the Ghost. So if next time you go there, you could definitely play it there. But yeah, it's a one-on-one fighter. It's almost like rock paper scissors with movement. You have a high punch, a kick, and low. And anytime you would get a strike on the board, the referee that you see on the upper right hand corner of the screen would just award you a point. And there was no health bar. Your goal was just to be like a regular karate fight and get points to end up beating your opponent. And like anytime you make a blow, the guy in the top right corner would be like point, and then he would put his hand up to award you the point, and then you would start over.
Yeah, so it was basically like a karate actual like championship point fighting game. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll have to look at this next time I'm at the Ghost.
Game from 1983 by Data East. It was the first 2-player arcade fighting game with dual joysticks on each side. You did special moves in the game and movement from left to right with the dual joystick.
Basically face off.
You know what that kind of reminded me of a little bit? Like those old Tiger electronic games.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The movement definitely is like, there's not a lot of extra art to show movement. It's like, I'm in neutral, I have a kick out, or I'm in neutral, there's a punch. Yeah, like there's no frames in between, as we like to call it in fighting games.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley was worked for Entertainment Weekly. I forgot about that. Wow.
That's why again, you can see when he does like his award shows and everything, you can see he still had those connections through everything, because yeah, he definitely puts on shows.
Yes, indeed.
Against your opponent, and it was a straightforward karate game, and it was very basic, because I mean you basically walk up against each other and you'd start hitting each other. But it was tons of fun because you were facing off against your friends.
In 1984, Konami introduces countless gamers to carpal tunnel syndrome with Yi Ar Kung Fu.
Fighting games sort of.
So did you ever play this one?
Yep. This is the one with oh man, I'm forgetting his name. Bald guy. They'll talk about him in a second. But yes, this one was. I liked Kung Fu better just because I liked the point system, but this was definitely a game that needed to come out to, again, as we continued the history lesson through this, it definitely needed to, because again, getting points is fun and all, but when you just do the one attack or you find one thing that way, you needed to figure a way to have a comeback mechanic or something like, in that kind of area to be like, all right, this person get that first hit on me, but man, I can easily get in and do something else. He's only doing the same thing over and over again, which, you learn and adapt, but yeah.
Yeah. So someone needs to like clip this photo of Jeff Keighley right now and upscale it. So this could be my new avatar photo, because this is great. This is just a very awkward photo of Jeff Keighley. And then we got our friend, Mr. JM here, stopped by saying, Jeff Keighley is the weed of the gaming industry. No matter what you do, he just keeps showing up. So that's pretty funny.
Created this term button mashing, where you see people in arcades just madly tapping the buttons and the joystick. And button mashing really led to some people eventually figuring out, hey, maybe we can sort of add some secret combinations of certain buttons and certain joystick moves to, create amazing new moves and amazing new powers that you'll have in a fighting game.
Yi Ar Kung Fu was really kind of the first game where you saw an arena, your environment, place to fight, and it also kind of established
I got weapons too.
Vantage point of fighting games, which is a side view and two guys standing face to face, and you go at it. And the idea of moves and stuff like that was also developed even further with Yi Ar Kung Fu.
I will say that looks actually a lot of fun.
It is a trip. That's the best way I could say, because like it looks fun, but then you play it and you're like, yes, this is the 80s, and it takes some time for it to to sink in. But when you just go in there and you're playing two players, because again, a lot of people still play these just one player, because it's always intimidating to walk up to somebody and take their quarters. I mean, in a way, that's kind of what fighting games were like.
Yeah.
But like when you play the computer, you're like, man, why is this thing doing this, and this? So when you play against somebody and you're just going in there as a neutral party and all that stuff, it becomes fun, because you all figure out like, all right, what can I do? Or you saw the character's name, she was throwing fans, her name was Fan. So you're like, oh, what does this person do? You kind of get the whole aspect and gamut of like, how do I learn this character against this person or this computer or whatever?
Right. So are they like all named after their weapons? So here's Fan.
They are not. There's just her. She's the one that I remember seeing on here, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. It was very uncreative on the name, but there's just random names.
that would have been funny. I kind of would have respected them more. It's
one
like, here's
Miss Pole or Stick. Yeah.
Like a young kung fu student studying the ways of his enemy, Capcom pays close attention to their competitors' success.
Capcom ended up taking a good look at Karate Champ and taking an even better look at Sierra Kung Fu and decided that they should combine the two.
To beat Data East and Konami at their own game, Capcom jumps into the fray with the release of Street Fighter in 1987.
Now, wasn't this game like incredibly ass on like
This game sucked.
Yeah, because I think I had a buddy who was really into the fighting game scene too, like you.
Yeah.
And he said like, yeah, the first Street Fighter game is fucking horrible.
It is. They described it the best. They put those two games together and they try to mash something and it didn't go well, but it's interesting to see. They'll talk about one of the arcade machines. I've never got to play on one of them before, but it's a very, very interesting way. No attacks do damage the correct way. Like you could do one move one time and just one hit kill somebody, then you could do the same thing and it won't do anything. It's the weirdest. Like, yeah, it is a full-fledged, just like the game's gonna decide what it wants to do, and you're just think you're in control.
Yeah. So like, it's funny when you said that, where it's like they combined both of them and created nothing good. Have you ever seen the Mighty Boosh?
It sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
It is like a very British TV show. You probably have heard of at least one of them, Old Greg.
No, I don't think I have.
Ah, damn, dude. All right, so you won't get this reference that much, but there's like this one episode. It's called Eels.
Okay.
And like they were making this. They're doing the song, and it's like one of the lyrics is like taking elements of the past and elements of the future, combining them to make nothing quite as good as either.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's what that reminded me of a little bit.
Yeah.
And I also love that this freeze frame that we have it on has like Ryu separating from his body.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's very fitting.
Yep.
Let's continue.
The biggest fighting game that really started the genre in a big way was Street Fighter.
Well, Street Fighter had these amazing graphics. At the time, this is 1987, mind you, but Street Fighter had a group of characters. You just couldn't use any of them except for Ken and Ryu, and you're on this quest now.
Ryu. That bothers me. Ryu.
Fighters from all over the world. So now, with that embedded in your head for a second, fighting all these players all over the world, you have like a goal in mind.
I was walking around the arcade, and a bunch of people were just hanging out by this one game. I was like, Street Fighter, what's Street Fighter? And then these cool characters, Dragon Punches. Right when I saw reading Fireball, like, whoa, it's cool.
Street Fighter has gamers virtually pummeling each other in arcades across America. But what Capcom does next will hit the arcade scene with the force of a sonic boom.
So I got a question. Like, when was the first time you played Street Fighter? Was it in '87?
No, because that's the year I was born. I played Street Fighter 1 when Street Fighter 2 came out. And I was like, oh, Street Fighter 2, there's got to be a first one. And then whenever my quarter was up and everything like that on Street Fighter 2, I'd see the Street Fighter 1 machine and I was like, oh, I'm going to go try this so I can learn how to do Street Fighter 2 stuff, because again, it's the sequel. My little brain's like, I could do both, or I could play the first one and get good at the first one and kind of do that. And no, nope, nowhere near it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't actually know what my first Street Fighter game was too. I think it had to be maybe PS2 or PS3.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can't remember the first time I played a Street Fighter game.
Oh yeah, no. Street Fighter 2 was like, I guess for me, because again, growing up in arcades was like an institution. Like every place had it around me that was an arcade. My grandparents had one. The house I was living in, there was like it was called Mr. B's. It was just kind of like a convenience store. They had a smaller version of one. I mean, it was everywhere.
Yeah, when you say Mr. B's, I think of good old Fox River Grove staple, Mr. Beefy's. May it rest in peace, because they tore it down and made it Culver's. But that was the best place to get a Philly cheesesteak around here. Not gonna lie. I was so upset. I was gonna take my wife to it. I was like, "Oh, I'll take you to Mr. Beefy's," and then because it had been a long time since I've been there, and then I show up and it's like that scene with I think it was Casino with Joe Pesci. He's like, "What the fuck is this piece of shit?" It's like,
yep.
What happened to Mr. Beefy's? That's my favorite place, but it is what it is.
Yep.
The first Street Fighter proves to Capcom that gamers will pay good money to lay the smackdown on their friends. And in 1991,
Here I was
they
born.
took it up a notch with Street Fighter II: The World Warrior.
I do think that's funny that both our years that we were born.
Street Fighter, yeah. Yeah,
I got yelled at.
anytime, like it's always funny. Like anytime like Street Fighter anniversary, I was like, I usually get the shirt because I'm like, it's my birthday year too. So it's like it's the 40th year anniversary or it was a 35th anniversary. I'm like, yeah, I gotta get the shirt because it's my 35th anniversary as well. So support the game that I love so very much and myself in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Street Fighter II was the fighting game that really sort of took the world by storm. This was really sort of the peak of arcades, sort of in the early 90s. And
Yeah, so that is kind of correct, right? Like this is kind of revered as like one of, the best like fighting games, right?
If it wasn't for this game, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about any fighting games ever, because the way that it was going, no one had like a barometer to test what games could be like, and pretty much we have like roguelites, like we have what is it, Demon Souls likes, like there people made games copying Street Fighter because they saw how much money it was making. They're like, hey, we can make a console version of this, just release it. I mean, we wouldn't have anything today if it wasn't for how this looks. And I mean, you can just look at the still image and look at the fighting games that we have now. Everything still almost looks exactly like this. There might be more meters added somewhere, but again, health bar on top with the knockout meter in the middle, names underneath health bar. You see like an indication of who has won a round. Like everything still on this image is what a lot of people making games look at today.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, I never thought about it like that.
everyone was going to arcade basically for two things: racing games and fighting games. And Street Fighter was the ultimate fighting game.
Street Fighter was the biggest catalyst for arcades and the biggest source of rebirth.
Street Fighter 2 really showed who really was a hardcore player, because you could really get your ass handed to you unless you knew what you were doing.
So who's your Street Fighter man? I guess we've got to ask that.
So as a kid, I played a lot of Ken. As an adult, Ken and Honda. As an adult, because I play a lot of Zangief in the newer ones, I've gone back and I've learned Street Fighter 2 Zangief stuff, which is never the smartest idea because he's a really hard character to use in the older ones. But I've gone to Zangief a lot of times because I like to play the chess match of games. Like I'm not the biggest combo fan in games. I like to be like, I'm going to trap you. Like, I'm coming for you. You're going to get hits on me. But if I get in close, you're in trouble. And I like to play like footsies is what we like to call it. And so, yeah, that's a lot of Zangief now. But back then, a lot of Ken and Honda.
Yeah, I think you and my buddy Manny would be very good friends then, because he's also a big Geef guy as well, as
yeah.
he likes to say.
Decisively.
It was so addictive because the moves were so detailed and it was so competitive. You could just throw quarters in that machine all night long and still have fun. Whether it's fighting against a computer or fighting against a friend. It was pure competition at the arcades.
Just earn, tens of millions of dollars or cap them all over the place. It breeds people to come back to the arcade because they want to get better at the game.
Well, there's really no glory in saying that you're like awesome at Pac-Man. Yeah, I rule at Pac-Man. Yeah, right, big deal. Who cares? With Street Fighter, it's kind of like a level of respect. You walk in the arcade and see these guys play for hours, and there will be all these court tokens lined up on the machine.
Games that were addictive, that kept you wanting to come back again and again.
So I guess the real question is, what was like for you in particular, Jason? What was the longest you ever did an arcade where you actually played other people and fought them?
Let's see. Pretty much anytime I went to one, like how they were talking about like the arcade quarter line. I mean, I would always just quarter up just because, I mean, it was always fun. like the more the people are at an arcade, the more you're not intimidated to quarter up because you're like, oh, this guy's beating this guy, and you're like, oh, I gotta join this queue. I gotta get involved into this kind of thing. And then you see the guy that would just be on the machine over and over and over again. You're like, all right, this guy is pretty good. Then you want to be the guy that beats that guy. And then it doesn't matter how long it takes because again, you're watching, you're waiting, and the best way I've always learned fighting games is you have to watch because you can practice at home or you can do things, but if you're doing something over and over again, that becomes what you do, but you're not seeing like what the best way to do something in. That's why like fighting games now, it's so easy to get really good quick is because we have like streamers and the pros that just play the game. Are like, oh, this is the new meta. Like you could be at arcade A and this guy's just doing this and you're like, oh man, that's really cool. But then you go to arcade B and you see that same character being played and it's so different. You're like, oh man, this is how you play this guy. And then you find like a common between like, how can I do both? And that's what like the arcade wars were all about. It's like, oh, this guy's really good at this guy. He does this, or this guy does this. How can you, marriage these two together to become really, really good and everything like that? So, I mean, I would be dropped off in an arcade and I would just be watching, or people would come into my grandparents and I would just watch. I mean, sometimes I wouldn't even play. I would just be like, I'm going to just watch these people do things. And then if I'm going to be playing by myself against the computer, you can't really do some of the stuff because again, the computer knows your button inputs, but you at least try some of the things. And then, you just kind of go from there.
Yeah. So just a reminder, the computer always cheats.
Always. The computer's job is to cheat.
Soon, everyone is kung fu fighting.
Oh, Yu Suzuki, creator of Virtual Fighter.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Fighter 2 came out, there were nearly 600 new fighting games.
Street Fighter 2 came in the early 90s and defined the 2D fighting genre. And you saw a lot of other publishers and developers sort of hopping on board.
Ah, the G-Spot! Yeah! You remember that on G4?
I do. I saw that. I was like, man, I forgot about it, and I saw that, and I remembered. I was like, man, that's right. They got away with naming everything.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that not too long ago. Like they used to have shows like Wired for Sex, some crazy anime shows, and oh man, I forgot. Like I remember their advertisement before. It was like "Get freaky in the G-Spot" was like their catchphrase for that one.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, man, I was like, yeah, like the mid 2000s or lower or early to mid 2000s, like you could just get away with everything.
Yeah, well, this was cable too. You had to pay for this extra thing, so they could do all this fun stuff. Like there's a lot of YouTube channels out there that kind of like help carry the load about all this stuff. But there is something that about like an old school, like just regular, well-produced TV show like this stuff. Like it is something that I miss for gaming,
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Like I said, it's great that like us, like I say us because again, I do a lot of the top like fives, and I love the documentary stuff of video games. But when money's put involved into it, and you can kind of see this kind of love and care into it, it's so much nicer than just friends just getting together and just talk about their experiences. It's really nice to kind of see everything about it.
Well, I think also a lot of things too is because of how like a lot of the online content is now. It's like we lose that little connection to talking about like who these game devs are, like and stuff like that. Like we don't get like the fun interviews as much as we used to. Like they're out there, but it's just not the same. It's like like Yu Suzuki, like are we gonna get interviews with him? Not really. We don't get that many. We don't get that ones with Shinji Mikami. Sorry, we got him confused with the other video game.
No, you're good. Yeah.
But like it is like a reminder, like these people work on these games, and there is that massive disconnect now where it's just like it feels like people are just trying to find more, try to induce rage than try to induce joy with like this stuff.
That's the best thing about Harada. He does stuff like this. I mean, he does his own podcast, and he gets people involved talking about things like this. So like there are a few, and that's why like Tekken has become one of my favorite franchises as they keep going on, just because like he cares. Like if something's wrong and he screws up, he'll admit it. He's talking to fans, like he's getting people's opinions, and that's why there's the quote is like, don't ask me for shit shirt and all that kind of stuff. Like he's on the pulse of what people want in his games, for and against, and he's just there. It's great.
Didn't he? Was this? I wonder. Was this a real tweet or was this a fake one? Because I think I saw the one that from Harada that you're talking about. But I want to know if this is real. But if it's fake, it was pretty funny. It's like, how come people keep asking me to put Waffle House in a game? And what is a Waffle House?
Yeah. He mentioned it. Yeah, because people were talking, like, because they had that fight at the Waffle House with the lady with the chair and everything like that. And they're like, oh man, wouldn't it be funny? Because it's tech and like they do a lot of like street backgrounds and like bigger backgrounds. Like, wouldn't it be hilarious if there was like a Pancake Palace or a Waffle House? Like just coming up with like random names. Like, wouldn't it be hilarious if that was in a background of one and you could like fight outside of it or fight inside of it? And it got to Harada. He's like, what the hell is this? Like, why do you want this so bad? Like, it makes no sense to me, but if you want it, maybe. And then that's why, like, anytime like there's a new stage, everybody's like, oh, please be Pancake Palace, because I don't think they can get Waffle House, and they're like coming up with random names for it. They're like,
I think they could get Waffle House. I mean, they got KFC and other investments. Oh, dude, how much like extra would be? The Japanese would not understand the joke.
Right.
So that would be so much better. It's like the Japanese are going like, what is a Waffle House?
yeah. That's why it's Pancake Palace and Tifa. Those are like the two big things for the new Tekken game. Is like, which one's going to happen, or is it if any of them are going to happen? They're like, please, one of the two, if not both of them, happen.
Oh, that's great. That makes me happy. I'm happy that it's actually real and wasn't just a well edited thing. That makes me even happier.
SNK became certainly the most successful company to follow in their footsteps.
Fatal Fury was a great game. It was the first kind of one-on-one fighting game that we had in the Neo Geo. The next game after Fatal Fury was World Heroes. Later on, Samurai Showdown came out, and that was really the game that just took over everything. It put SNK on the map.
So what do you feel about SMK games? I don't feel like I ever hear you talk too much about them, to be honest.
So as a kid, I always thought they were cheap knockoffs of Street Fighter 2. That was me putting my, pinky in the air. I'm like, oh, Capcom this, Capcom that. As I've gotten older, I know I talked to AC on the weekend. There's the area, the Ghost, that's the SNK aisle. Yeah. I would kill to have a Neo Geo in my house. That's like the one arcade machine besides like a big blue Capcom of anything. I want a SNK and get like a 256 cart, because I was so wrong on thinking SNK was like the cheap version of Capcom. And now when I go play those games, I'm like, man, I can tell I was young and be like, if it's not Capcom, it's not this, kind of thing. But
yeah,
I'm glad I realized my errors of my way, and I love it. I'm not as great as like the King of Fighters, because they were mostly like multiple characters, and I love focusing on one. But like Sam Show is great. World Heroes, I played a little bit, but yeah, they were all fantastic. And then the lane system for Fatal Fury was always really weird to me as well. But as I got older, I'm like, oh, okay, it's still 2D, but it's just you got two different planes, and it was little additional things. But yeah, no, I love now as an adult SNK. As a kid, I didn't care for it as much.
No, I understand what you're saying. There's I've had like those moments as a kid where I went back and changed my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of gave something different than what Street Fighter was giving. Street Fighter was more like a true 2D fighting game. Samurai Showdown and King Fighter, that's 2D as well. But Samurai Showdown was cool because you had weapons. It had special moves. Instead of like the regular fireball or Guile's, somersault kick, they had like really cool special moves, like a real special attack that did massive amounts of damage. They made an impact on the whole Street Fighter crowd.
And as the competition grows increasingly fierce, designers begin coming up with more wild twists on the fighting genre. Games like Primal Rage pit dinosaurs against one another, while Capcom's...
I heard a small groan there.
Yeah, the game's idea is cool, but it is so bad to play, especially because you play fighting games and you're like, oh, a lot of the games should not play the same way. But like for Primal Rage's sake, to do a special move, you had to do say hold the attack button first, then do your joystick combination, and then let go of the button.
Okay.
So you're trying to do the move. You're like, oh, down forward fire or down forward punch. That's how you throw a fireball. You're doing that. You're like, why isn't it working? Oh, it worked that time, but now why isn't it working? Then you're like, what if I hold the button, do it, and let go? It works all the time. You're like, what the heck? And then just, yeah, the way the game plays is just really weird. Characters are cool. I remember having a lot of the toys, but I mean, like, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. So, can you give me like 1 minute? I gotta actually use the head. So, could you go a little bit more about Darkstalkers?
Oh yeah, Darkstalkers is another franchise that, unfortunately, I want to say will eventually get a remake, but I doubt it. Oh man, we're gonna get a lot of costumes in Street Fighter games with it, as we still do. But like, they tried to revive it. I mean, putting monsters, like I always call it like the Universal monsters against each other, but with different, like with a rock edge to it. It was so fun to see in arcades. Oh man, the way the art was, it's one of those games that, like, as I wasn't playing too much Street Fighter, I wish I could go back in time and be like, Darkstalkers is a game I want to be good at, but I just never had a chance to get good, just because there was not as many machines around me at the time. But man, just seeing the art, seeing the characters, we know a lot of them now from like the Marvel vs. Capcom series and everything like that, but man, Darkstalkers is one of those games that a lot of people know, but without knowing the game. And it's kind of a shame. I think, but yeah, I think we're good. Oh, but yeah, there's a lot more that I'm guaranteed they're going to talk about too. But again, a lot of the characters is just pretty much what made them. And with having, yeah, it's true. And the best thing too is like we have Guilty Gear, so like a Guilty Gear Darkstalkers crossover would always be pretty sick to see in the future, if that ever was a case, or a Darkstalkers with like a Guilty Gear art style would always be great. But yeah, there's just so many random things that this franchise could do, but unfortunately, having people show up to buy it and everything like that is always going to be the thing that scares people away.
Yeah, I've always, for me personally, I've always liked the art style more of Darkstalkers because I'm more into like the kind of the monster and the whole like scary, spooky kind of feel for it. I'm not too familiar with all their names, but obviously, like the vampire girl, the vampire guy, Morgan, that's her name, right? Morgan.
I say Morgan Dimitri. Yeah.
Obviously, everyone loves the big titty cat lady. You can't get wrong with the big titty cat lady.
Felicia's a huge fan favorite. Yep.
Felicia, yeah. And the Chinese zombie girl. What was her name?
Shinko,
yeah, the one with like the big arms and the talisman on her face. See, what's funny about that? I know all these characters better because of a game like Project Cross Zone.
Yeah.
Because they have like the fun combos with those characters. In particular, Frank West and what was her name again?
Shinko.
Like Frank West and Shinko were like a duo pair, and they had a fun little specialty move. So I always thought that was funny.
Oh yeah, and that's my favorite thing too. Is like a lot of times people know me in like just games. Like I love characters, and that's what fighting games show me a lot of times. Is like you can make these really cool characters, and they just stick with you forever. And yeah, like they all have their own personalities, and they kind of like grow up as you grow up too. And it's always fun seeing like what other crossovers can they get involved in, or what can they do to make these person like get older as you get older.
Exactly.
Darkstalkers features classic horror movie monsters, but the one game that gains more attention than any other is...
Here we
The game
go.
that really changed and it kind of took away from Street Fighter was Mortal Kombat. Because in Mortal Kombat it's not cartoon characters, you have a person digitized on the screen, and there was blood and gore. You never forget the first time, which is finish him. You never forget that, and it stuck with people.
That was one of the Ed Boon right there. That's God, look how young he is in this one. But
yeah, right.
But it's like one of the fun things about was going to the Galloping Ghost and seeing all like the autographs and all the pictures of all the people who worked on Mortal Kombat as like the actors and stuff like that too, and devs and such.
Oh yeah, they are all super nice people. I've met all of them, but technically 2. I want to say technically 2 because like I still have yet to meet John Tobias. I've ran into him before, but like not as like and got to talk to him as much. He's like the one autograph I need on my like MK arcade stick that I have.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, like I've met everybody countless times because again, we're in the backyard of of the company kind of thing like that. So they show up there a lot of the times, and yeah, everybody knows what they made is super influential and everybody loves it, and they're totally cool with like knowing the art that they made has such a long lasting effect till to these days.
So a quick like little side tangent before we move on. So you got your Mount Rushmore fighting games. So let's say 2 slots are obviously Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. What are the other 2?
Shoot, oh man, it's gotta be. Give me a second. Sorry for the dead air. I wasn't expecting.
You're fine.
I wasn't expecting to be put on the spot right here.
I know, but you got to put that out there.
Yeah. Man. Probably Virtual Fighter, because if it wasn't for Virtual Fighter, we wouldn't have Tekken, and we wouldn't have Soul Calibur.
Okay, so that's a good one.
So it's got to be that. If it wasn't for Mortal Kombat, so Mortal Kombat's my second one. I'm just trying to give reasons of why it should be on there. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have the plethora of games that could copy the idea of Street Fighter and make their own twist. Obviously Street Fighter because it just made games. But what would be my last game? Oh man. Would I put another 3D? Like maybe it would be. You know what? It hurts me to. I can't say it hurts me because a lot of people have their way of thinking about this game. I would have to probably be Smash Brothers, and the only reason why I say that is because it showed that with a gigantic budget and with friends, you can put a lot of characters into games and do a lot of cool things. Because if it wasn't for what Smash did, we wouldn't have guest characters in fighting games that we have now, and we wouldn't have more people looking at fighting games the way they do. So I would have to probably put Smash Brothers on there.
That's a good one, but you probably got a lot of hate from so many people.
It hurt. Like I said, it doesn't hurt me to say that, but like being a realist, and again, the Mount Rushmore to me shows why. Like it's not the 4 best fighting game franchises of all time. It's like, what do these 4 franchises do to what make games the way they are today? Right. And I think if those 4 right there says like Smash Brothers, like, hey, if you have a budget and you have a gigantic IP, you can make stuff. Now look at like Dragon Ball FighterZ. I mean, if it wasn't like they're like, cool, we can make a franchise with this to do that kind of thing. Mortal Kombat, it's like, hey, we can copy Street Fighter, but do it in a different way and make clones of a game that do this, and then people will start making clones of Mortal Kombat as later on. Street Fighter revolutionized the way it is, and then Virtual Fighter shows like, oh, we can make 3D fighting games. Okay, cool, and then just go from there.
Yeah, so people out there, if you're watching, what is your Mount Rushmore of fighting games? Leave a comment right now, or if you're catching this later on demand, please leave it down in the comments. Let me know.
Yes, and tell me how wrong I am for putting Smash Brothers on there, or how right I am. But because, like I said, to me, again, as I would never usually want to think about doing that, but like I have to. Like it's a good franchise, and it is a fighting game. So.
Boon and John Tobias came up with his Mortal Kombat.
Speaking of John Tobias, right there.
Yep.
Franchise, which I think they would admit is basically a rip-off of the Street Fighter phenomenon. But what they did was they really took things to the next level, and they added blood and gore.
But it had that like holy crap factor, pulling the guy's head out and his spine is hanging, or kicking off someone's head. Yes, it's over the top. Yes, it's totally exaggerated. I think part of it caused a lot of stir in the news and stuff. Mortal Kombat game showing people taking out hearts and stuff. It's just great. It's just fun.
Yeah, and that's like another reason why you kind of have to put Mortal Kombat on there. It was so infamous for like both like being on and outside of the game, you know. It's just it's just a wild thing to think about, you know.
And then again, like I was talking about, like watching like, you know, watching and learning. You see a random person just do a finishing move. You're like, how the heck did you do this? And then you get the cool people that would tell you how to do it, and you get the people be like, it's a secret, man. I didn't even know how I did it. Like the mystery around the game was always just like fantastic.
Yeah, and then we got our mutual friend checking in, Mr. Nerdy Neo, saying Smash is the best fighting game franchise.
Yeah.
How you doing, Neo? How was your stream, buddy? Hope it was good.
It's entertainment. Fighting fans, really want something different, and Mortal Kombat, gave players that.
So nobody realized that somebody was going to make that big a step forward in terms of just, shocking violence in an arcade game. But it was a landmark in graphic depth.
But
Can I say one thing? And I know this is going to sound weird, but just stay with me. What I love about these older shows is that they're all ugly nerds that are talking about.
Oh, yeah.
You're not seeing like the eye candy of the Jessica Showbox stuff yet.
No. It's, you can tell they probably woke up an hour before shoot, and they're like, crap, I just got to throw on the shirt that I wore yesterday and get there really quick.
Yeah, for sure. Like a lot of them just look like I sniffed this shirt before I came here. It smells fine.
Yep.
And then Neo says, Ninja Gaiden 4 is pretty awesome. Yeah, I've heard great things about it. I can't wait to sit down and play it for myself, probably this weekend.
Violence that makes Mortal Kombat so popular also makes it one of the most controversial games of the 90s.
The fact that there was blood in the game was sort of this big controversy.
There was concern about these games and members of Congress talking about video games being the sort of decline and fall of Western civilization and destroying our youth. And
yeah, we actually covered that with Bliss. We had the whole breakdown of the ESRB and how it's established and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and again, games should definitely have an ESRB. Like it was crazy to think, like, me as a 6-year-old. Like, granted, I had parents that tell you like this is fake and all that kind of stuff, but like, it's crazy that like a 6-year-old could just walk up to a machine and just kind of see that kind of stuff without like not knowing anything, unless you had a parent to be like, oh yeah, this is fake. They're just play fighting and all that kind of stuff. And as you get older and you realize this is that stuff wasn't that bad, but yeah, that's something like if movies had it, there's video games and all art should definitely have something like that.
Yeah. Also, we learned too that the two big spearheads of that were Democrats. We forgot about that.
Yeah, which is insane to think about, like how they're like, we got to put a ban on this kind of stuff like that. It's like, no, it's for how Democrats are viewed today. Like, it's insane to think that's what it was.
Yeah, well, I think it's just a lot of people always kind of they think of the John McCains.
Yep.
And then I think people forget that John McCain was like the Johnny come lately when this was really kind of going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was originally spearheaded by I think a Democrat from Wisconsin, and like I forget where the other guy was, like Massachusetts or something.
Yeah, I forget where Lieberman was. I always, when I see Joe Lieberman, I always think like he's the guy that didn't want us to have cool games.
Yeah, exactly. May he rest in peace. I don't know too much about him. He was before my time a little bit here, so but we did find out that they're both have long passed on, so they did their jobs, I guess.
Yeah.
Down the path of no good.
I hope you walk away with one thought today.
Here it is. Herb Cole, Wisconsin.
We will.
And the industry felt that we needed to respond in some way, in a proactive way.
They wanted to get some sort of a rating system, but that was like kind of the cause of that whole thing, was the fact that it didn't have a rating system in place.
The controversy over games like Mortal Kombat leads to the formation of the IDSA in 1994. Soon after, the ESRB rating system is introduced. Despite the controversy, fighting games hit their peak that same year. Street Fighter the movie is released, followed by the Mortal Kombat movie 1 year.
All right. So did you see both of these movies? Because I only seen the Mortal Kombat movie. I never saw the
I saw both of them in movie theaters, yes.
So what did you think about the Street Fighter movie? Because I hear that the only one like that made that movie tolerable was Gomez Adams.
Oh yeah, because that was one of his last movies before he passed. After he was not well during the time. The only reason why
he was terminally
Yeah.
ill when he was filming that.
And the only reason why he finished is because his kids loved the movie so much that he decided to stay on board and do it. But it's a bad movie. Yes, it's fun to watch, but it's bad. All the characters that you see them portrayed out, and they're like, that's not how they are. One of those kind of things. But it's one of those movies that you still watch because it is entertaining, and it's a fun bad in a way.
So I guess the follow-up question I would have is, how do you have hopes for this new Street Fighter movie?
I have no idea what to expect, to be honest with you. I see the cast and I'm like, are they just naming people? And then they're like, oh no, it's true. It's like, oh my god. So I don't know. I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna. My barometer is, I hope it's not Mortal Kombat Annihilation, or I hope it's not Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
Oh god, no! Don't say that. Don't say that.
If we can stay away from those two, I'll be okay. That's all I'm gonna say.
If we can make it campy fun,
yeah, I'm cool with that. Like, if it's campy and it's fun, it's fine. But if it tries to take itself serious and destroys the characters, then I'm gonna have an issue.
So yeah, so I guess we're gonna go see it, and then we're gonna have to do a review stream about it.
I'm down with that.
All right, so we'll mark it once we get official release date. I'll come scoop you up and we'll go.
I'm down.
But we got to go like full in. All right, I'm talking. We got to buy like the limited edition.
If there's a popcorn bucket, I'm for sure buying it. Oh, 100%. I need it. I'll need to have that crap. Absolutely.
Right. And the Mortal Kombat movie here. So obviously, I like this one a lot. I think
I love it.
It is very campy, but it's like fun campy kind of way. You know?
Oh, it literally. If it wasn't for the movie, we wouldn't have the way the characters are today. Like the movie did such a good job that it gave more personality to the characters in the games, and they're like, oh man, we really like this. Yeah, we're gonna rewrite Kano as an Australian. We're gonna give Shang Tsung like this kind of like mysterious, more of a snakeskin oil salesman, kind of a person instead of like a sorcerer wizard that he, is. Like, yeah, it gave all these characters such a great thing. It gave Johnny Cage his weird personality that develops instead of like a guy that just knows a lot of martial arts that plays him in the actual video game. They're like, oh, what if he's like this guy that knows what he's doing, but he's kind of a cowardly, like full of himself kind of guy. And like, it did so well for for everybody, and gave us Art Lean, a guy that should be in a Mortal Kombat game, but he was just in the movie and he dies to Goro. Like, it does so many random weird cool things.
Yeah, he's the sacrificial black guy back in.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
No, but yeah, obviously it gave us the iconic "Your soul is mine."
Oh yeah.
It's I was happy when they brought him back too as like a cameo as
well. Oh man, yeah. It's like anytime he's involved with it, I'm like, it's so cool to see him do the thing. And like, he loves fighting games too, because he played he was in the Tekken movie as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
A year later. But how much longer will these two fighting giants stay on top? New innovations will bring new challengers.
Oh, here we go. Virtual
just
Fighter.
2 dimensions won't be enough.
Now we're going 3D.
By 1993, 2D fighters are everywhere. While the makers of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat churn out sequel after sequel, Sega's Yu Suzuki works on a new kind of fighter.
The president of Sega realized that Capcom had a fighting game called Street Fighter 2 that was.
I'm not gonna lie, I was like, are they gonna translate this for us?
Oh yeah.
It was so delayed. I was like, oh yes, I agree. Street Fighter 2, yes.
Very popular. He asked me to come up with a game that could be competitive in this field, and I said, I don't know if I'll be successful, but of course I'll give it a try. I decided that I like to combine the 3D that I was always interested in with a fighting game.
Oh, wow. The early pioneers in 3D fighting games, you have to speak about Yu Suzuki and the Virtua Fighter series. Just when that came out in the arcades, it was astounding.
Now, is the new one out yet, or is it coming out soon?
So it's coming out soon, and that game looks insane.
Yeah, I think I saw like I think the tech demo or the trailer
Yeah.
that they showed off, and I
Yep.
was like, I was fucking blown away. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. Like,
Yeah, like I have, like again, that's a demo right now, but like if what they're showing and what they want to do is what they're going to produce, I have no idea how this game is going to be made. Like it's insane what it looks like, what they're trying to do, and what they're trying to play out. But I'm fully on board on seeing what happens in the next, I want to say 2 to 3 years, because I don't see it coming out next year.
yeah.
But
What-
yeah, I am very intrigued on what they want to do.
What's this one called? Virtual Fighter what?
So right now it's just called the Virtual Fighter Project. So there's not really a name for it. So I don't know if they're just going to continue with the numbering or they're going to name it something else.
Yeah, because I kind of want to bring this up real quick here too, so people could kind of get a view of what I'm talking about here real
Mhm.
quick. Because replace screen share. Where's this at? Virtual Fighter Combat. Yeah, because this is I first saw this like little trailer, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all. It really kind of blew me away. So let's get it on here so people can see.
Oh yeah.
But Jesus, like for a fighting game, this is like some of the most detailed graphics I've ever seen.
Slow motion stuff is so cool.
Yeah. Like I know this is like no sound or anything like flashy and everything else. But
They're just showing you buttons. They're showing you. Oh god, that's so cool.
yeah, it's so overtly and over the top detailed and everything, compared to what we've kind of seen before,
Yep. And the
But-
coolest thing about that game too is a lot of people they see Virtua Fighter and they see like fighting games. They're like, man, I'm so scared to play, 6 buttons or 4 buttons or whatever the thing is. Literally, a Virtua Fighter game has a kick, a punch, and a guard. There's only 3 buttons, and it's punch beats kick, kick beats like it's a triangle system that they do, and that's what makes the game hard, is understanding that motion. But Virtua Fighter is a very easy game to just play. Getting good at it is understanding the mechanics, but like it's such an easy game just to pick up and want to play, and it's very cheap too when you want to play like the newer one, because they put money back into the last it was Virtua Fighter 5 Revo is what they're calling it now. They put money back into it to get more people to play that before this one comes out, and it's so fun to play.
Yeah, another thing too is I think they're using the Yakuza Dragon engine for that, and that engine is like really good for the Kiwami games. Obviously, it was really good in like the new Pirates game too and such. So they really are hammering out some good qualities over there at Sega for like their graphic side, like
Oh yeah.
Stranger Than Heaven or something like that, or something like whatever that new game that they got coming out is also in that engine, and it looks really damn good too.
Very cool. Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens.
Just fighting in 2 dimensions, moving back and forth and maybe jumping over one another, but not actually moving in 3 dimensions. And seeing fighters who had depth, it really was a revolution.
Virtua Fighter really opened up a can of worms, because they opened up a whole new realm of possibilities for the player. It was a coup for Sega, because it was just brilliant. What was great also was each character had a real technique. I mean, it was Taekwondo, it was Kung Fu, it was, Thai kickbox, whatever it was wrestling, it was like a real thing, drunken style. And it was just very, very, very cool.
And just like
They say how realistic it was, but they don't show them jumping, because this is where the infamous moon jumps happen.
Yeah, I remember that. They're just like 5
Fly
feet
forever.
in the air.
Yeah, they just fly forever.
Whole 3D fighting revolution, which was then followed on by, Games like Tekken, all those games really took this 3D fighting methodology to a whole new level.
Tekken kind of concentrated on the story of Heihachi and Jin, like the Mishimas, and a lot of stuff going on with those characters. And it seemed like every single Tekken you wanted to know what was going on with the storyline.
Tekken, it has that whole techniques, the counter and stuff, but it's much faster than Virtua Fighter. And I think people who are like jazzed about the Street Fighter games, there's like, is there a 3D fighter out there that's kind of more for our fighting style? And I think Tekken was that game.
And other companies like Tecmo, they just took the ball and absolutely ran with it. And you can see that in Dead or Alive.
Yeah. Oh, here he is himself. Recently just passed away.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Itagaki, rest in peace, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I like Virtua Fighter, but if I use different ideas to describe it, I would say it's an old traditional sushi restaurant. And on the contrary, DOA is like a sushi bar with roller skating girls serving wasabi on the sushi.
What the fuck?
Dude, Itagaki, man, like, it's crazy that we waited to watch this and he passed, but man, this dude was the rock star of video games. Like, the best way to describe him is like, he was like him and Harada. They always said they hate each other, guy who did DOA and the guy who did Tekken, but they were really, really good friends. Harada posted a really good tweet. I think it was 2 days ago. It was very, very nice.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it was such a good one. The best way to describe Itagaki was like, he was the heel of the fighting game creation. Like, he was putting on a show, but he knew he had to do that because he was at a developer that didn't do too well at the time, but he had this great idea and he's like, what's the best way I can do it? Is like, oh, I could be this rock star that is full of himself and puts this out and makes like these weird, or I can't say weird, like when you put like, he did interviews, it's like, what's the worst fighting games of all time? And he lists Tekken 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And, just bashing on his competition just to be like, I'm this, but deep down he's like the nicest guy ever, kind of thing like that. But what he did with graphics at the time, I mean, boot up your original Xbox and play DOA 3, you would be surprised at running on an Xbox. It's insane.
It's fun.
As competition between fighting games grows increasingly fierce, developers jump through hoops to draw in gamers.
But then you'll get the people that are really hardcore about fighting games. They're kind of bored with Street Fighter, bored with Mortal Kombat. They want something different.
So Capcom introduced Super Street Fighter to the new challengers, and that was released in 1993, and that introduced 4 more new characters, Cammy, DJ, Fei Long. They also added a combo meter for the first time. I mean, players had always said, oh, okay, well, I'm doing
left at that point because they tried to show the 4 characters, but they put Chun-Li in there instead of Cammy.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you caught that. Because I was like, I see that right?
Yeah. No, they put 3 of the 4.
The screen at the time.
And then you have, which I think blew everyone away because it had weapon-based combat.
Yeah, the precursor to Soul Calibur, Soul Blade.
Yep. The very slow Soul Calibur, yeah, but Soul Blade was fun. I remember going to a lot of Pizza Huts and playing this game.
You had Samurai Sword, you had Nunchaku, you had bow staffs, you had spears. It was beautiful because they had all these swooping effects and whooshes and sparks when weapons clang together. And then you have Dead or Alive. I can be fighting someone, they can attack me, I can counter it, but then they can counter my counter, and I can counter their counter. That engine is just genius.
But as the games grow more complex, they begin to have a negative impact on the industry they helped save years earlier.
The more complex the game gets, like Virtua Fighter was, you're definitely going to lose players.
By moving anything to 3D, there's obviously the risk of making a game too complicated or adding too many buttons. And I think there've been some,
or just losing people on the art style too. That's another one.
Yep, art styles. I think art style is the most biggest thing to get somebody into the game and out of the game. Followed by characters and then gameplay. Because again, if you like the way the game looks and you like a character, you're going to stick it out. You're going to want to learn to do the mechanics.
some fighting games that just, are just not fun because there's so much to do or the learning curve is so high.
These were games that took a lot of coordination. And
I don't know who Nolan Bushnell is, but I know who he is. Does that make sense?
It does. You've heard the name so many times that you realize you know who he is, but then you're like, what did he do again? But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I didn't. Tongue tied. I forgot he founded Atari.
Yep. He was the Atari guy. That's every time I hear the name, like, yep, the Atari guy.
excluded two major classes of people. The casual gamer, the businessman that wanted to play on his lunch hour, and women.
The problem with fighting games was that, there was a period of maybe like a year where anyone could get into fighting games, and after that, it was hard for like somebody new to walk in the arcade, not just get their ass kicked, to just get laughed.
Yeah, that's basically what they said. Like, you fucking autistic freaks ruined it.
Yeah, we did. We wanted to learn as much as we can, and the best thing about it, like learning the games, is like you were with a group of people that wanted to teach you. So like, you didn't get good by yourself. It was impossible to get good by yourself.
Right on.
Laughed out of the place, so it kind of kept new people from getting into it after a while.
As the arcade market declines again, fighting games will have to find a new place to call home.
And that's when we get the home console market.
Yep.
Towards the late 1990s, the arcade market is down for the count. But at home, it's a different story.
At one point, players were still playing fighting games in the arcade, and they would play at home on lesser versions of the same game. Like Super Nintendo, people would play Street Fighter 2, but they'd still go to the arcade because it looked better, it played better.
But then with a game like Tekken, the arcades was built on a version of PlayStation hardware. So what you have is a game that is very easy to be transitioned to the home console. So what happened was that these guys who were spending quarters night after night in these arcades, spending sometimes hundreds of dollars a month, were able to buy a console like the PlayStation and play it basically for free at home once you bought the game for 40 or 50 bucks.
By the mid to late 90s, players could get something that was, almost as good as or better than the arcades on their home consoles for less money. So
yeah, so that was like kind of what you kept saying, right? Like the reason why people like the fighting games more on like the Saturn and the Dreamcast was because they were more arcade boards than their competition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were the arcade way of how they were built, and so that's why they always looked a little bit better and played pretty much identical at home because of that. The one that they talked about, I don't know if they talked about it later on, but they were talking about Tekken being built on PlayStation. Technically, the Tekken 3 version on PlayStation is even better than the arcade version.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, but that is the one game that I saw, I think on the PS3, and I think currently is on the PlayStation 5 now as a backwards title, is actually Tekken 3 for that reason.
Yeah, Tekken 3 is technically a better home game than it is an arcade game, and especially Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast is better on Dreamcast than it is in the arcade.
Oh, no kidding. All right. So I just had to ban some bots. All right.
It's always fun, isn't it?
You go to the arcades to play your games when you don't have to.
So what happened was that people started gravitating towards playing a lot of these fighting games.
Power Stone.
Yes.
And the home consoles were so powerful then that it was basically arcades kind of lost their luster.
Not only are home console fighters matching their arcade counterparts, some are even surpassing them.
When the Dreamcast launched in September of 1999, one of its launch titles was Soul Calibur, a game from Namco.
So you kind of laughed at that.
I was like, I should just keep my mouth shut. Or granted, yes, I watched this one time, maybe like 4 months ago when we were planning this. I don't remember a lot of things very well. This is just literally the knowledge that I have in my head. So it's kind of funny when that happened. I was like, I guess I did talk about
it. Fair enough.
That was one of the best fighting games, and it sold extraordinarily well right out of the gate. After the launch of the Xbox, Microsoft was really lucky to have Mr. Itagaki and Team Ninja sign on to do a Dead or Alive 3 game for the Xbox. Every console needs a great fighting game to launch. That's one of the core genres of consoles, and Xbox got that great fighting game, Dead or Alive 3, and it really helped the platform.
Dead or Alive 3 did very well on Xbox. They showed the world exactly what the Xbox could do.
And it still looks really damn good.
So I said, I was talking about Itagaki. I said, like, if you put Dead or Alive 3 on your Xbox, you look at it, you're like, holy crap, I can't believe we were playing this during that time. And then if you have like the HD cables that are very kind of hard to find for the Xbox, the composite ones.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks even more better.
Yeah, with the upscaler technology that we have today too, it could.
Oh yeah.
It could look like a low end,
Yep.
Xbox is like one game.
Yep. Yes, 100%.
He expanded on the notion of multi-tiered stages. Not only could you knock somebody off a platform, say, but you could knock them off a huge platform and they would go through a floor.
Now, like, this shit blew me away as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, especially when you had them like fall on the neon signs. There's just sparks and everything flying everywhere.
Oh yeah.
This is when like I really think like this was like the second boon of like the fighting game spectacle, in my opinion.
I agree, because you're like, again, you're making a move, like you're making a fighting game or a fight scene in a movie, and you're controlling it. You're like, yeah, I can just fight on this plane and do this, but you're like, what if I hit this person and it didn't kill them? But like, we go to a transitional stage, because again, stages in fighting games are great. Like, I absolutely love them. Let's see more of it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and a lot of people copied it too in later games as well.
Yep, absolutely.
And bounce down.
But the old 2D fighters that started it all aren't gone for good. Old rivals team up, and new franchises such as the Guilty Gear series ensure that gamers with the 2D itch have a place to go.
3D fighting games have been a focal selling point now in the fighting game genre. I mean, a lot of players don't want to hear about that. I mean, they still love 2D games. I mean, even me personally, I prefer 2D fighters. I think the best 2D fighter out right now is Guilty Gear X3 Reload.
And they still kind of are. They still are hanging around today, a lot of them.
Oh yeah, like Guilty Gear is huge now, and it should be. Like I said, the music in the game is fantastic, and then the art style, being Arc System Works, is on another level.
Yeah, Arc Systems just they're doing that like what Marvel Token or whatever it's called.
Marvel Token, yeah.
Yeah, so like they really have cornered the market with that art style and play stuff and everything,
Oh yeah, it's great. I think Arc System Works right now is the best fighting game company out right now, and I don't say that hurts me, because that's awesome, but like that's somebody that's a huge Capcom fan. I think Arc System Works is just insane.
Very nice.
Capcom had suffered some reversals. Street Fighter 3, for instance, was not a big success in North America.
But a very good game.
Just in case later King of Fighters games from 99 and beyond got kind of a mixed fan reaction. So they got together and decided to, let's settle our differences and give fans what they want. So they created a lot of different crossovers, Capcom vs. SNK and Capcom vs. SNK 2, which were straight 2D fighters.
Yeah, those were good games
Today,
too.
fighting game tournaments such as the Super Battle Opera Championships.
What the hell is this even still a thing, or this is eventually?
It is. It got rebranded. That's what Evo was called beforehand.
Ah, this is so funny.
Yeah.
So this predates the Evo name change, huh?
They'll talk about it. I think they're going to talk about both.
All right, cool.
I'd be very surprised, because Evo's been going on for a while, and I'd be very shocked if this was before Evo.
And the Evo 2K competitions feature both
There you go.
2D and 3D fighting games. Thousands of players from all around the globe duke it out for cash prizes and pride. Meanwhile, fighting games continue to evolve.
Now game machines are powerful enough. A big trend with fighting games is that now, it's not just a static environment. You can actually use the environment against your opponent. Even a game like Def Jam, Fight for New York.
Yeah, Def Jam Fight for New York. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
So this is where I always laugh. Like it's a fighting game. To me, it's a wrestling game, because there's like pins and everything like that. But the game deserves to be talked about because it is a fun game.
It is the GOAT of games that people should play. If you
Oh, yeah.
ever get a chance, you gotta play this. This game is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It had no right being this fucking good. All right.
Not at all. And then if you ever decide to go to a fighting game tournament, usually on a Saturday or Sunday, there are signups to do a tournament of that.
You see, look, I got Ice-T versus Shaniqua.
Oh yeah.
I love that so much. They fucking do it. I gotta go. A shout out to one of the top 5 episodes. I think it was hardest boss fights. I got Snoop Dogg in there as one of the.
Oh yeah,
that's
jeez.
my honorary number 5.
Your opponent's
Oh,
the
yeah.
subway train and have the subway train run them over, right?
More comment, I think, is like the success story. They died in the arcades, and then all of a sudden they come up with Deadly Alliance, which makes me but they kind of went back to the roots. A lot of blood, gore, fatalities, but they just overhauled the engine. They moved to a 3D space. It was just phenomenal.
Online is a really important part of fighting games.
Oh my god, online. This
This
was at
is-
the tip of the spear right here.
Yeah, this is before people realize, like, if you don't have a good online for fighting games, you're gonna be dead. And this is kind of interesting when they're talking about, like, oh yeah, online for fighting games. It's like, yeah, now it's like it's a must.
Yeah, it's amazing. This is the pre-online games. This was like before the dawn of the new era right here, everyone. You don't understand. All right. This is like basically saying before Christ and after death. All right. This is what we got going on right now. There's
Like,
before
yeah,
online and after
because
online.
we bought fighting games to bring home because it was like our homework. We had the game at home, that was our homework to play against our friends, and then we went to the arcades as a test of what we learned, playing against your friends at home or playing this and that. And then online happens and you're like, cool, I could just do all of that at home.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the idea of facing off against your friend in a fighting game is really, really exciting. And that sort of brings back what it feels like in an arcade to be against each other and punching each other. It's like, hey, I got you there, and having fun that way.
Fighting games have gone from ruling the arcades to dominating home consoles.
There's Melee. We got the Melee reference too.
Gaming to its limits, both technologically and morally. There's no denying that fighting games helped shape a world of gaming into what it is today.
Every time I see a new game, the new Mortal Kombat, or the new Dead or Alive, Ultimate, I'm just blown away like how much we've evolved. Games are going to evolve, they're going to be much better. In the end, the real winners are us, the gamers, who get to play these awesome fighting games.
Have to use the codes.
Oh man. What a fun trip down memory lane. That's for sure. Woo! Jesus. I can't believe how much nostalgia trip there was right there for sure.
Oh yeah. It's great.
So after watching all that, how do you think the gaming industry now has evolved with the fighting games now?
The one thing that I think Jeff Keighley said is like back then, like if you had a fighting game that was on your platform, it was a must to have one. That kind of went away for the longest time. But I agree with that statement so much. Like the way graphics are put into fighting games, it can be a system seller. Granted, systems now are different than what they used to be back then, but like, yeah, I agree 100%. Like if your system had a fighting game and it was good, people flock to it. I mean, I joke around when the Xbox One came out. I own an Xbox One because they had the remake or the remade version of Killer Instinct for it, and I had it as my KI box. Like that's what it was. Like it was a game that was only there. Like I had to have it for that. So I mean, now it's just we're kind of like in a second resurgence of fighting games, or technically a third one, I guess we can say, with a lot of the games that are coming out today. But yeah, I think like if you are ever scared to get in one, find one that like suits you and just play. Even if you play online and you get your ass kicked, like that's teaching moments. I learned so much more by losing in games than I do winning. Yes, winning is fun, but like sitting, losing, or just playing in training mode for like 30 minutes to an hour, like so much stuff you can learn and just develop by doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And the graphics for these fighting games have been getting better. I feel like their mechanics have become a lot more sound and well thought out. We're a far cry away from like the Super Famicom version of Sailor Moon,
Yes.
So it does seem like even like I think like the big controversy now is like when a fighting game doesn't have rollback netcode, to be honest.
That's the big one. Yep. If you launch a game without rollback, you're dead.
Yeah. So what is the whole big thing about that? You want to explain that to the crowd?
Yeah. So rollback netcode is because you're doing your peer-to-peer, and if you have any lag in a game, you're going to feel that. So what rollback does, it counts frames ahead. So if you have a good internet connection, your buddy doesn't have one, it can sync it up to where the game is going to feel as best as it possibly can, where it can roll back frames so that you're at least on the same page and not be like, oh, I have this connection and you're playing in mud. Sometimes it feels a little weird. So, but that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, that takes so much work to think about too, as well.
It does.
It's just a wild concept of just how much R&D went into just trying to make a system like that work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just to make sure that you have the best possible outcome for a fighting game that requires a lot of, quick movements, dodges, parries, and stuff like that, depending on what kind of game you're playing.
Yeah, because again, like back then too, games were like on like they're called like 1 frame, 2 frame links and everything like that. And a frame in a game is just ridiculous. Now it's easier and there's like 5 or 6. But like if you're playing online and you're trying to hit a move that takes 2 frames and you have a little bit of a connection, it's impossible. Like you'll never see that ever happen. With rollback, it gave you a little bit options on older games, where now newer games they're a little bit more beginner friendly. They help do that kind of stuff. And the big thing too now with fighting games is like, again, you saw a lot of people with arcade sticks and controllers. Now leverless is another big thing. Modern controls to get people just to play it. So like you can, instead of doing a dragon punch with motions, you can literally push like back triangle and do a special move. Now you get a little bit non-benefits for doing some of that stuff, but like, at least gets people to be like, I don't want to learn how to do these combinations, I just want to do cool stuff. You can now.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I think that was a good episode, man. I really did appreciate this talk. It was fun to finally get you on and have you on too, buddy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, this was fun. You got some closing thoughts you'd like to add?
No, if you watch this and you enjoyed it, and you haven't been in the fighting game community, do it. That's the best thing I can always say. Like, yes, sometimes if you pick up a game and you get your ass kicked, it's very not fun. I do understand that, but like a lot of the people in the fighting game community want you to play. They want you to be involved. And the best way to do that is like when a game comes out, start early, because you're learning with the new people. Like, free to play fighting games are a big thing now. Like 2XKO is the League of Legends fighting game that's going to be free to play. You can pay for characters, but like at least you're getting your foot in the door to learn how to do things. But if you ever are interested in any like IP and it has a fighting game, just play it, because again, they are so much fun, and especially if you have people to play against, it makes it even better.
Yeah, there's also one of the more favorite. One of my more favorite YouTubers follow Matt McMuscles. Do you know who that is?
Matt McMuscles is very nice guy.
Very, very fun YouTube channel where he goes over like a lot of like the worst fighting games ever made and stuff like that too. So if you want to get some more gaming history and stuff like that, maybe we could get you back on to do like one of the funnier ones too one day, Jason. Just we could EFAP to that one.
Yeah.
But like I've learned so much about like, a lot of like really shitty games. Like Naughty Dog's like first big game was a shitty fucking like Atari Lynx game, I think, right? It was a fighting game or something like that.
I think so. Yeah. I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I just is like, wow, it's kind of funny to think how far Naughty Dog has come in the grand scheme of things. Like that was their first game.
Oh yeah, everybody has to have a dud sooner or later to start with something, and yeah, it's crazy to see what those were.
Yeah, right on. So, Mr. Jason, would you like to give yourself a plug of any upcoming events or something like that?
We have Borderlands on Tuesdays usually. The first one with me and Neo. He wanted to get some achievements in those, and I'm a huge Borderlands fan, so we're kind of going down there. We have top 5s on Thursdays. I don't remember. No, we're doing Scary Games. The day before Halloween, we're doing Scary Games Part 2. I don't remember who we have on for the show for there, but we're going to add to the list that we currently made last year, because, again, it is Halloween season, and we kind of want to, make our lists the best we can with more people to have their opinions heard and everything like that. So we have top 5s on Tuesdays, and that's probably it. So yeah, tons of fun games is where my channel is. You'll see me on there every once in a while. I don't post a crazy amount. I have show ideas that I'm trying to put together, but putting together shows and actually doing them are two different things. And I like to have a lot of things perfect before I kind of launch them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's hard when you have like a full-time job and everything else, and you come up with ideas, and it's like, that didn't work out like I thought, and you get into the slump.
My thing is like I have these ideas, and people are like, that's great, you should do it. But then I go through and I'm like, well, I don't like this, and it's the smallest thing, and it's like, well, I'm not ready for it, and it's like they're like, just do it and just go from there. I'm like, yeah, but my personality I can't. It's weird.
No, I totally understand it. Like I said, I went through a funk not too long ago, and I had to get myself out of it. But now, I kind of reinvested, been trying to really do more production value. I have been getting good feedback about the show ideas. So
good.
Keep growing and keep learning. Hopefully,
Yes, absolutely.
Keep doing some more. Link to his channel is in the description of the YouTube video. So if you're watching on YouTube, just go right there and it'll take you directly to his channel. So please subscribe to him from there. As for me, we will be back on Thursday because I forgot about this one in the shuffle, but we will be back on Thursday and we'll be joined by our top 5 co-host, Mr. Ryan. And we're going to be watching another episode of G4 Icons. And this one is about video games in the military. So our friend Ryan, he is a veteran. He was a military police officer. And he was in the service around the time this episode came out. So we're looking to have him on to kind of relive some days, see what he could, if any of this can relate to him. And definitely is going to be a fun show. And that will be, like I said before, this Thursday. So please check it out then. And of course, we got the other ones coming up as well. We got the Friday recap, where you will obviously know what that is, showing off collections, game trailers, and talking about gaming news. And then, of course, this upcoming Saturday. Oh, I say top 5. Sorry, I meant party chat. Sorry about that.
I was waiting to see if Neo was still in there, but I was like, he's on a roll. I'm gonna let him go with it.
It's when it's on your mind, you easily forget.
Exactly. Yeah.
But as I said too, this Saturday we will also be back for a rare Saturday episode for another episode of Legacy Loading, and we're going to be talking about Doom. That is what we're going to be talking on, and our guest will be Mr. Transylvania Jack, and he will be on with me as well for that Saturday. So that should be about everything kind of updated for this week. No show tomorrow. It's going to take off and finally beat some more video games. Got a bunch on my mind. Jason, it was wonderful having you on again.
Oh, it was great being on this. It was a fun subject, and it was always fun talking to you.
Exactly. So we'll hopefully get you on more for another show in the future. If you want to come on this Friday, I have no guest. If you're free,
I might be busy, but I will let you know.
All right, I'll keep you posted. So everyone, have yourself a wonderful Tuesday. If you're in the Midwest, bundle up. It's been cold and rainy, so
cold and rainy. Yep.
But for everyone else, have a great weekend or great rest of the week, I should say. And we'll talk to you on Thursday.